So we're at the Bonegilla Migrant hostel, as it was at the time. This is the kitchen, or part of it anyway. This is where everybody would line up in front of the bain-maries to collect their goodies. Oh, there he is. Look at this. Hey, hey. Love it.
Back in the saddle again.
And for all of you who are wondering about the culinary fare that was available at the time, check this out.
It was particularly helpful for the Hungarians who never seen porridge in their friggin' life. And most of us stick to the rule to avoid it.
Interesting. Always plenty to eat.
Yes.
Even if it was not particularly appetising, but there was lots of it.
Yes, yes. And the thing is, it wasn't on account that they wanted to fib us off or anything like that. It was just that was what the Aussies ate.
Exactly. We're in the dining room at Bonegilla, and I'm waiting for my, what is it? Mutton and brown gravy. Mutton and brown gravy. What did it come with? Veggies and something or other?
Veggies always were around.
Yeah.
Sometimes they came tinned. Most of the time they were fresh. Sometimes even the potatoes came in tins.
Oh yeah.
Pre-cooked potatoes. Sometimes potatoes came as a dried mush that they added hot water to create mashed potato with.
Yeah. Reconstituted.
Yeah, correct.
Yep. Yep.
But the fact of the matter is that regardless of which way we look back at it, and even if some of us pursued culinary experience later on in private life, you could see that it wasn't done out of malice. It was done because Australia at the time was geared to British palate.
True. Yes.
And the British palate is not well renowned.
It's bland,
yeah.
for sure.
Okay. So it wasn't because they had ill will towards us.
That's what they knew.
That's what they knew, and that's what they had themselves. So how can you give the immigrant something better than what you have yourself?
I was reading on one of the in one of the rooms that they actually had some protests and riots here.
Yes.
The Italians actually.
And the Hungarians too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the two palettes, the British and the Italians are good cooks. And the Hungarians have got their own specifications, and therefore, the basic ingredients were different in their cuisine to what there was, what the norm was here at the time, and to somehow up to about 20 years ago it still persisted, but it was okay with them. They did their best, and I'm thankful for them.
And of course the Aussie would say, bloody Dago food.
But what were the riots about?
About what was given to them.
And the fact that there was nothing to do, because when the depression came and they couldn't get work and they were stuck here through the winter months and there was absolutely nothing to do. So basically after those riots, and they sent the troops in from Bandiana in armoured vehicles and weapons. And this, of course, made the news, not only in Australia but overseas. And this was a big slap in the face for the government, so they very quickly organised work. And suddenly all those people that were protesting got work and were quickly moved on from Bonegilla.
The basic pay for a male worker, and it was different from males to females, it wasn't equal pay, was about £18 per week. When I was a youth and was here, I was allocated 17 shillings per week as unemployment benefit, which meant less than £1. But for me it was plentiful because A, there wasn't anything to buy with. B, a packet of smokes only cost 3 and 7, 3 shillings 7 pence. I was living like the Prince of Wales. A, you had to sign that at the end of your stay, when you have to pay back all the costs. In our case, because we had to pay for us. Now, British immigrants did not. They were £10
Pounds, yeah.
So they never had to pay back anything. But we had to learn English. The language and what was the norm for us. In other words, what was done at any particular time of the day, of the week, of the month, of the saints' days, all that sort of stuff, the family's absence, for a little while. And when I say for a little while, about 50 years, it was with me. What do I miss? What did I miss? Familiarity with what was norm for us, the human behavior, the expectations, the public holidays, the members of the family, well, some of them. You got to be candid. Also, the churches that I visited, the landmarks that we had back. My city was initially founded by the second king of Hungary, and that's over 1,000 years ago. So it has a background. And we had our own language, we had our own idiosyncrasies. I still have it.
But after having come here, because you wouldn't have been exposed to outdoors such as this in the city, would you have? So here you got all this freedom, all the bush, you got the weir over there that you would have been free to swim in and so on. No. And find other female companionship, I'm sure.
But they had to be alive, of course. Now, the thing was that we had outdoors as well. And the outdoors were organized by the state and the schools through the arm of the state. So we had holidays catered by the state for nothing, costing nothing for the parents and or the pupils. And they were organized pioneer courses, which is like Scouts now here. And so we had a feeling of belonging somewhere. That was lost. The other thing was that when you arrived here, you were a refugee. And at the time, it was expected, or I got used to, being referred as a refugee. After a while, I started glowing in the glory of being a refugee. It was okay. Look. It created a character. Lots of people correct me, why did you need that new character? Because it was a way to override the negative vibes giving to me. And it's okay. I'm still all right with it, and I don't blame those people who looked at us with different eyes. I can recall to visit my father-in-law to be, and I and my wife to be arrived to their place, which was a small country town in Victoria, and I had presented him as a getting to know you bottle of scotch, because I heard that he was not actively against drinking scotch.
Actively.
Well, he actively drank it, but and it was a dimple. Now later on, I hear that it's not the dimple that I've given him that is on the store in the stores now, but that's another story. And I said to him, "Look, think about this as not losing a daughter, but gaining a bloody new Australian." And it was a throwaway to see his reaction. Of course, I mentioned that to someone who himself was a product of previous arrivals to Australia, because he wasn't Anglo-Saxon. And we got on like whatever on fire. I'm concentrating on being careful. I have to say, everything that has happened to me here was on account of my mindset. Now, it's great having choices. It's great to be able to navigate it. It's a bit harder when you're given direct orders and direct expectations and all that sort of stuff. However, 60 plus years later,
We survived.
I'm still here, much to the chagrin of many others. It's true.